that goes to show why these are so important. What's up, YouTube? Today we're gonna have somewhat of my, I want to say, a 2023 guide on the top tips that I want to give you guys on caring for your ball pythons. And also, there's a request. I kind of forgot who was it that requested. There's a young lady that did request that we did have Lola on camera. So we're actually starting with Lola today. I'll actually show a clip here. She's actually soaking right now in here, taking a bath, kind of. She had a shed and she didn't shed completely, like it wasn't a full shed, as you can see as I'm going to clean up her enclosure, her tub, as well as London and Blaze on. So it's going to be kind of a cleanup day while I talk to you guys about some of the things that I feel is like the kind of top key things that you want to have in mind or have for kind of a care guide for your ball python. So number one that I'm going to say is my number one tip on ball python care, I would say, is the size enclosure that you have for your animal. You're gonna want to have an appropriate size as far as length and width. You're gonna want your python to be able to stretch out at least the whole body from here to this corner over here. So it means all this being body in a kind of a L shape. You want it to be able to stretch out. This, in my opinion, encourages growth. If you have your snake in somewhat of a smaller enclosure and this is all that they have to work with, I don't think physically their body is going to allow them to grow into the full potential that they're capable of. So number one thing is to always get an appropriate size enclosure. There are steps that you could take to it. You can go 20 gallon and wait, and then upgrade to 40 gallon and then wait and then upgrade as you go along. But in my opinion, I would rather say get something that's an appropriate size. I would say start off with a 40 gallon, male or female. Start off with a 40 gallon and then give them lots of enrichment in there. So that way, so what you'll run into, while they say don't give your python such a big enclosure, they'll be scared. You have one hot side, one cool side, but you may realize that your snake may only stay on the cool side or only stay on the hot side, and that's probably because they're uncomfortable trying to travel from one side of the tank to the other. Stuff, enrichment, things like this. Lola's, she's very big, so she really don't need much. But if you come down here to London, I got a piece of bark in there. There's a couple plants here and there. So that's gonna take us on to number two. The number two tip that I'm giving you, major tips here, guys. It's not the Bible on ball python care, but I'm gonna say these tips are kind of your key and your foundation. So for number two, we're going to get into temperature and humidity, hence for stuff like this. You want to make sure, if you can, get a hold of one of these. I have a video that has all the equipment that I have, but I will include these in the description as well. This way you get your temperature up top, and then it gives you a percentage on your humidity there. I always have in everybody's enclosure tub, there's one on each side, so that way I kind of can get a good feel of what's going on. Then you also want to make sure have one of these, a heat gun, because the temperature is going to want to say one thing, but you want to kind of point at surface and see. Like right now, that's super hot right now at 97. 100. There's a heat pad under here that's actually heating without a thermometer on it right now, and I did not realize that until I took the thermometer. So it's over there, so that's why this is super hot. So you don't want to make mistakes like this. So what I'm gonna actually do before I put her back in there, I'm gonna get it set back up and then let it kind of settle back in to her temperatures, and then that way she'll kind of be fine and won't send her into shock when she goes back home. But that goes to show why these are so important, because here it's showing me a temperature of 84 here on the temperature my thermometer that I have here, and but when I use my heat gun to kind of get a gauge on the floor, it's showing me at 106. So that's why these are very important. I'm glad that that was unplanned, but I'm glad that we were able to see that there. Speaking of the temperature and humidity, with your temperatures, I'm going to say you're going to want your temperatures to be kind of range from about 55 to 65 on the regular. During those shed periods, I want to say kick it up to about 75 till about 85. And you're going to find your own sauce, your recipe that kind of works for you. I'm still trying to find mine. As we see, Lola had kind of a rough shed here, but she's the only one of our snakes that have had a rough shed like this. And I would credit it to her previous environment, her husbandry of before. Right now things are beautiful, humidity is great, temperature is great. She has water, everything that she needs, eating schedule is great. So I'm thinking that she's still kind of developing and getting used to the new situation here. So I think we haven't gotten her to the point of showing the benefits of what she has now. So we're going to continue to work at that. I'm pretty sure her sheds will continue to get better and better. Just checking on her, making sure that she's not with her head under the water. She's right here looking up. I'm surprised she didn't pop this top off. She probably don't know, but she's very strong, and she's strong enough to do that. So that was the talk about our humidity. My third tip that I'm gonna go over: feeding and feeding schedule. So with your pythons, this is just my opinion. I don't want to say that this is straight out of the Reptile Bible or Ball Python Bible, but in my opinion, feed rats as soon as you can. Down to from the pinkies up to, you know, whatever size that you're feeding, just as soon as you possibly can feed rats. Some snakes are picky, some snakes only like mice, and things like that. So if that's the case, then I'm sorry, but in my opinion, rats contain, I mean, that's not my opinion, that's through research that I found out that rats do contain a lot more protein and nutrients compared to mice. So that was my first reason for always wanting to go with rats, because I wanted to make sure that my ball pythons had the best nutrients and things like that they needed. Now, in addition to me saying feed rats, I want to say, as far as sizing, there's a kind of thing if you want to go with 15% of your ball python's weight. Me personally, I've started to learn my ball pythons and kind of gauge their food based off of each individual python. So Lola, she's a wonderful eater. She's probably not going to ever miss a meal according to the way that she eats with me, and I have no problem. Get the rat, put the rat in there, sometimes set the rat up in a little trap and just for entertainment purposes, but she's gonna eat, no problem, hands down. Same thing with London, no problem. As soon as you put a rat in there, she's coming out of her hide and she's in hunt mode instantly. Only little picky guy that we have is Blaze, but it's from time to time. Once it was, I'm gonna say, my fault, and second, my guy was in deep shed. But my girls here, so far when they've been in shed, no problem, still eating. And I'm gonna give Blaze some credit too, because he have since he's been with us, he shed 3 times and only 1 time during shed that he didn't eat. So when I say that I kind of gauge my pythons according to how they eat, Blaze and London, they're they don't mess off with their food. They're all of them actually. So with the aggressiveness and the way that I see that they handle their meals, that kind of gives me the idea that, hey, maybe I can give a tad bit bigger of a meal and things like that, which further leads to a faster growth rate. And also when they're younger, like I would say Blaze and London are, their growth rate is going to kind of be up a little rapid. So with the protein and nutrients that they're getting from those rats, as well as the decent size of rats, not being afraid to kind of, push that limit a little bit. If you sit and you give pinky rats every 2 weeks, then you're the size and growth rate of your python is definitely going to show. If you do what I'm doing and you feed decent sized rats on a frequent schedule, like we feed weekly. The only person's on a 2-week schedule right now is Lola. London and Blaze, they're just about there. I'm kind of deciding when they're going to go on that 2-week schedule, but they're both over 500 grams. If you didn't get a chance to check out that video, I think it's like maybe a video or two ago, but it's our weigh-in video. Check that out, and then you kind of get a chance to get a look at our snakes as well as the weight of them. And everybody, since they've been with me, we feed rats. I don't take a step back when they're in shed. I try to stick to the schedule more so than anything. If there's a reason that someone isn't eating on the schedule, like how this past feed was a little off, it's like Blaze, he was in shed this time, but just give him a couple days, gave him the opportunity to eat again, smashed it, no problem. So number 4, what I'm gonna talk about with number 4, I really believe that you want to have fresh water for your snakes, and you're gonna kind of, in order to make this video a video, I put in some extra work, so you'll see little B-rolls and me doing things like filling up the water bowl, cleaning out their enclosures and things like that. But you want to make sure that they have a nice, clean, healthy environment. You don't want to drink from a dirty water bowl. If that was your case, you don't want dirty water coming out of your faucet, or if you buy water from the store, you don't want water bottles that are full of dirt, and it's not going to be ideal for you. You're not going to want it. So back to that old saying, treat others how you want to be treated. So take care of your animals how you would want to be treated if you were in their situation. So clean water, make sure that you take out their urates, clean up the poop when necessary, especially if you're, I don't know the correct term, if you're not bioactive. Now if you're bioactive like I am, I'm gonna actually show you guys this. So here's poop. I didn't take it out yet, but it looks like it's kind of getting somewhat of a mold on it. Like you see the fur growing in on it, and I'm yet to see any bugs, like no isopods or anything. I'm gonna get that last because I don't want him to touch my face or nothing. But I don't see anything over here kind of hovering around. So that's what made me feel like, she maybe don't have enough in here or something. I got a calcium bar in here. That looks like it's been tampered with a little bit. But just little things that I have in here that that's to help the cleanup crew in order to keep in this environment nice and clean and kind of sterile for all your snakes. I'm talking about Lola right now, but this is kind of universal. I take this same routine and apply it to all of our snakes. And as far as cleaning, what I would want to say is this is something you want to repeat. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, like I'm in here every other day doing this. So if you can't get to it every, say, 3 to 4 days, I want to say at least once every 2 weeks. At worst case, I'm observing my snakes all the time, so at least if not on a daily basis, once every other day, I'm just in their enclosure checking out, hey, what's going on? Did you poop? And things like that, just to kind of keep track of them. And you'll learn certain things. You're gonna learn the snake more, learn certain behaviors, routines. You kind of get a guesstimate of when they're gonna poop. You get an idea of when they're getting ready to go in the shed, and just certain things. And as you grow with them, you'll become more of a well-rounded keeper. As I am, I'm still learning, like seriously still learning. But I do know and feel my confidence getting better and better with things like handling one, which really wasn't too bad, but keeping up with the husbandry, understanding bioactive shed, like we're going through with London right now. She's in her bath now. You'll probably see some clips of me removing her shed from her, as I'm trying to get that off. My fifth reason I want to go over here in my ball python 2023 care video. I want you guys to don't forget to include handling your ball python. It's going to be very important in the care for your ball python, in my opinion, if you're looking to have a pet. If you want a pet, it's something that you want to be able to handle, you want to be able to show off, guests come over, sometimes guests may want to hold the snake, but you want a snake that's going to be very docile, handleable, and not so shy and a little bit scary, because that's kind of will defeat the purpose of having that great pet that we are trying to grow. What I would say as far as handling, as I said in previous videos, you want to handle more than you feed. That's definite number one. So maybe 2 to 3 times a week, go in there, handle your snake, or sometimes even if you're not handling it, allow your snake to notice you doing things in the enclosure. Just so get that feeling, because at first they're going to be scared, like, what the heck is going on here? But over time, as they realize that, hey, when this person's in here, or whatever the heck they're doing, that they're not in danger or anything, I believe that's going to open them more up to being more docile, more friendly, and more handleable. Also, something that you can do, and this kind of falls in the handling category in my opinion, but it's also just kind of dealing with the environment of your snake. What you want to do, and I said this before, kind of switch things up from time to time. Add things into your snake's enclosure, take it away, like maybe add something in, a piece of bark in for a couple weeks, and then after a couple weeks remove it, put another one in there. Just things to change the scenery, just to kind of keep that mind always working. I think that exercise there will strengthen the mind, and I think that will help for not having, dare I say, I don't want to say it, so I'm going to leave that there, but not having, I'll say, clumsy snakes. Snakes that are able to digest things with their mind without being frightened, or being able to understand the situation because they've been in different situations, and raise a wonderful ball python. Those things are the top 5 things that I think that was set for a great foundation that you could start off with into growing a real nice ball python. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for returning. Blaze Reptiles. Listen, with 38 strong, listen, every time I get on here and say a number, by the time I upload the video, it's at a different number. I appreciate you guys. But I think we're at 38 strong. Listen, we're 12 subscribers away from giving London her Meet Me video. Let's get there. So listen, if you made it this far and you're not subscribed yet, please just go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and just comment to me and say a new subscriber here, man. Welcome to Blaze Nation. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you guys next time.